All right, so welcome everybody. I know it says here that I'm Melissa Brown, but I am not Melissa Brown. Melissa Brown is actually here, but she's not able to speak on the camera today. So, but it is just an honor that she asked me to do this, and it's even more honor to have a special guest, one of my friends, someone I met at the very beginning of my journey, someone that I've seen grow on this journey, and someone that inspires me and many others along the way. And she's going to share with us some really awesome stuff about some mechanics on what is a presentation, what are the key elements, and then one of the things that I am worst at that I'm asking her for is like, how do we set up the follow-ups from that meeting of the people who didn't sign up right then? Like, what do you do for that? So Jennings has had a lot of success in this business. She's an executive consultant, it's a mother-daughter team. Her mom is amazing, and so we're just excited to have her on here. And like, I was serious on that post, like we should have a FOMO of missing out on this meeting. Thankfully it's recorded, so if we're watching this on the recording, this is what a meeting looks like. But we're going to do our normal thing, and we're going to give shout outs. And since I'm already live, I'll mute myself. I'm just going to go ahead and shout out Dr. Victoria Lau. Like, she's the one that inspired this, because she's doing a lot of the work out there. She's sharing this, she's gathering people and having meetings. So because of that, just want to thank you for the motivation, because it's contagious. I think when somebody starts working, we all like, all right, let's do this, it can be done. So yeah, good job, Victoria. I see what you're doing. It's a lot of fun too. I'm glad I could be a small part of your big adventure. So anyone else have a shout out, a success, something wants to say? Hey, Andrea, how's the dog?
Good. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for running the call. Good job, Victoria. I see you showing up too. You're doing amazing.
Yeah, I want to shout out real quick. Thank you, Jeff, for being last minute. I thought I landed at 6, but I landed at 7. Just got here, but was just with Courtney Baker. And if you don't know her yet, she has 15 kids. Well, she's pregnant with number 15. She's a life managed consultant. And it was so cool to hear her stories. And shockingly, we didn't get a chance to make videos without kids all over us. Because we had 20 kids there. But one of the things she told me is that her 12-year-old has really struggled with acne. And if he misses one day of Protandim, it flares back up. But if he takes his Protandim every day, his acne is totally cleared up. So just wanted to share that little story with y'all. Thank you, Jeff, for running this. Thank you, Jennings, for being here. I so appreciate you guys.
I'll jump on. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I have these big old things and I'm not used to it. Had to borrow them from my kid. I just want to shout out Jeff and Aaron and Cheyenne for our meeting that we're going to have tomorrow, our launch for Cheyenne. But it's the trickle effect. I may have asked Jeff for some of this information, but now he's jumping on board with helping us get set up. And then Aaron too, he did a video on what things should look like. Now she's putting the criteria and writing it up together. So it's all how the world works. And if we can all do it together, better together, right? So thanks, Jeff.
What did you say, Mona?
I couldn't hear you. You were muted.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. But I do want to give a shout out to my wife too. She's my rock and my foundation, and I love doing this business with her. Like just life, we have our ups and downs. We have our times when we're personally feel defeated, and when the other times we feel like we're at the top of the mountain. And luckily for me and Mona, usually it's the op. One of us will be at the bottom, others at the top. So a lot of times it's a bad thing if we're both at a valley at the same time. But usually we're not, and so we're usually the other person's strength when the other person's weak. And I absolutely love this because you're the push when I need to be pushed, and I love to be able to reach down and give you a pull when you need a pull. So I don't know, it's just fun doing this with you, and we meet awesome people like Jennings and have people like Jennings in our life and in our kids' life. And so that's one of the favorite things about LifeVantage, besides the fact that this has changed our life. And so not everybody maybe knows me. I'm Jeff Carney, and we've been in LifeVantage for 5 years, my wife and I saw this and I was like, I 100% wanted this. I was looking for something. I was like almost 400 pounds. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for like some health. And I got to hear this because Melissa came through town and brought Dave Madison with, and Dave shared this with me. It was like a 1-to-1. It wasn't a meeting. It was like a sit down and talk. And I was 100% sold. Like, we looked up, I watched PubMed, we looked up studies. I was like, I want these products, but I was not interested in doing the business because I was all in for my computer business. And I was just like, you know what, but my wife, she's an entrepreneur. She does these oil things. She's a massage therapist. If her and her friends did this, I could take these products for free. And one thing led to another. And I talked to my wife about this, and she pretty much shut me down, kicked me out, wasn't even open to hearing it. But I was persistent for like 3 or 4 or 5 months. I just kept working on her. Finally, she was able to take a look because of somebody else. She was all in after that, started seeing amazing changes in our health. And I had an awakening. I realized that this business model is the vehicle that I have been looking for and praying for. And these products have changed our family's life in a tangible way we could see. So there's no way I cannot share this. And we don't have a lot of time. We are busy people. Like, we're not like Courtney busy or Melissa busy, but we're up there with them. I feel like we have 14 kids sometimes. And I mean, once you have 3 or 4, what's the difference, right? I mean, what's another 5 or 6? That's what Melissa always says. So yeah, but with that, I see this as the vehicle. And so we're just working consistently. And I think that's a lot of what it is. Like, success does love speed. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sell to go at a slow pace. Because I see it around me. I see the people that have this speed, and it's true. Success loves the speed. But I also see people that have been in this company for years and just been consistent and still have success. It's just taking them longer. So that's where me and Mona are. We're working this every day and when we can. But I want to really introduce you guys to Jennings. So Jennings, like I said, she's an executive consultant here in our company with her mom. She has, from the day I met her, been just on this like growth path. So she's told me herself before, this company is like a personal growth with a compensation plan attached to it. And but she's an amazing person, serial entrepreneur. Like, you guys, she has multiple businesses. She also got to be my teammate in a little competition for a cooking thing. Fun to find out she used to be like an executive chef. So of course we won. I mean, it's a little bit cheating, but it was fun. And those kind of memories are amazing. Her heart is amazing. I love her mom. Like, if you knew her mom, you would know why she's awesome, because her mom's so awesome. It's like, you know, they say the apple never falls far from the tree. And that's 100% true with Gloria and Jennings. Like, they're a package that's unstoppable, and individually they're just amazing people who make this world a better place. They come from a very beautiful place, Sandpoint, Idaho. It's like a destination for a honeymoon. At least that's where me and Mona took our honeymoon. And like, if you're ever going to get married or get married again, or just want to go on an awesome date, Sandpoint, Idaho is where the place to do it. It's beautiful. So with no further ado, Jennings is going to teach us just breaking down what a presentation looks like, what the key elements we need to hit are, maybe a little bit of the company story so we can regurgitate it, and just like how she's found success and how to follow up. So thank you, Jennings. I'm going to jump off and let you take it over.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. Well, you guys are so awesome. Man, I wish I could just come on here for a boost every week, which I do. I watch your team call on your Facebook page a lot of times, because you guys have such great content and always bring so much value. So I hope I get to do that for you guys tonight. It has been just the best part. If you haven't been in LifeVantage for too long, you will come to know very quickly that the best part about it is the family that we gather that's all over. And Jeff and Mona and Melissa and Darcy and all of your freedom leaders that we get to see regularly are like family. You know, we all stick together. And when we started out, we're in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is like way up by the Canadian border. You wouldn't want to be here today, Jeff. It is pouring rain. It's freezing. It's yucky, gray, dark. don't want to be here. But it is beautiful, but it's a very small town of about 7,000 people. My mom learned about LifeVantage in a gas station in Bonners Ferry, from Gene Tynes, who is an amazing dentist from Montana. And he happened to come over and do a presentation in this weird gas station / wellness store, on the side of the highway. And she said, you know what, if a dentist with that kind of background and reputation can do this, I can probably put my ego down and get behind this company. And so that's how we started. She showed me the ABC primetime video. I had never seen a presentation. There wasn't an event to go to, anything like that. But we had this passion, like, we have to share this with people. So we started sharing it one-on-one with just a few people. And those few people, without having any idea how to do a presentation, were like, we see that too. And it came to the point where, okay, now we've started sharing this with people, and now we kind of have this little team, and now we know enough to know that we have to actually present this. And I remember one of our upline, like, she lived in South Carolina. She sent me a printed out story of the company story and a printed out, like, kind of script of a presentation. And I memorized that pretty much line for line in the very beginning. I just took that thing, wrote it over and over again, said it over and over again, stood in the front of a room of, 2 or 3 people, face beet red, sweating, shaking, horrified to be speaking in front of anybody, right? And that's how we did it. That's how we started. And over time, we just gathered more and more people. So my point with that is, at some point, you have to take the reins and get down and dirty and learn the presentation yourself. And that does not mean that you ever do the presentation for yourself. That I want to be really clear about that, because 12 years into this, every time I have a friend that I want to present this to, whether it's one-on-one or a group of people, I always get somebody else to do it for me, because there's no way that I can do as good a job for myself as somebody else can for me as a third party. So the reason why you want to learn how to do a presentation is because it is like the ultimate confidence booster. When you have, like, even just these little nuggets at your fingertips that maybe you use at the grocery store, maybe something slips out at, a dinner party or whatever. This gives you so much confidence to have these tools at your fingertips, and there's no way to do it unless you start practicing talking about it. So we're going to go through really, like, pretty simply what a presentation is. And you guys have probably heard this a bunch of times, maybe some of you, and some of you, maybe this is brand new. But there are really only 3 elements to a presentation. So there's your story, the company story, and how you get paid, which I say is how it works. How does it work? And I think we would all agree that the most important part that you need to nail is your story. And most people, the story is the hardest part, because we get caught up in all the details of our story. And we're looking at, like, wow, I have all this history. I have all these different things that are really important to me that I want to get across to this person. And the fact of the matter is they do not care. They don't care about the details. They don't care. They don't want to hear, like, what year, or, oh, I think it was, August, no, wait, it was July, and my sister, no, wait, my aunt, like nobody cares. They want to know how bad you felt, how crappy you felt, and in detail so that they can feel it in their body because they're feeling that too. So if you can get really clear on describing what your pain was. So your story, if you want to take a note on this, is your background. And I'm not talking about, we do not need to know what master's degree you have, what all these things, where you went to school, any of that. We need to know like who you are. Are you a teacher? Are you an educator? Are you a seeker? Are you a project junkie? Are you an ADD, can't decide what you are? You know, something relatable that gives a whole picture of who you are. Are you a super mom with 15 freaking kids? That's crazy. I can't imagine, but I can, when I hear that, I picture she's got to be amazing. And then you want to solidify in like 1 or 2 sentences how much pain you were in. And a lot of us don't, either you like talking about your pain way too much, or you don't like talking about your pain at all. It's like usually one of the two, right? So if you talk about your pain in a way that like you're, you know, stuck in whatever you had going on 20 years ago, let's fix that. And let's talk about how it applies to the person you're talking to. If you don't like talking about your pain, you got to find some really visceral words to describe whether it was financial pain, pain around time. Maybe you still have this pain. Maybe you're, you know, you're in a job that is just sucks the life out of you, you know, find some ways to describe your pain, because that is really what is going to attract people to listen to the rest of your story and the rest of the presentation. That's really all you need, right? You need that pain being super clear and your passion for what we have found. Company story. Same with the company story. For those of you who've been around a long time in LifeVantage, we have a lot of company story to tell. And how do you just crisp that up so that we do not have to listen to a half an hour of details that nobody cares about? People do not care. What they care about is they don't want to be with a scammy, like iffy, cringy company. They want to be with a reputable place where they know if they invest their time and energy, it is going to pay them for the long term. Something that's going to be rock solid, that they can count on and they can feel good about. So there are only a few details in there that you really need about the actual company. Then we have like timing and trends and what's going on in the world. So how can you relate what we have at LifeVantage to an everyday life? How can you relate, you know, wow, we have this amazing opportunity. What does that mean for us? Like, we have products that are category creating, they're unique. You can't just go down and get them anywhere else. You can't, there's just, if you were to invest in this company, you would know that you have something that's super special, right? People want to know that stuff, that they're not just in another company that just has the same old. And when they see the tools that we have, like, you know, if you're showing them the ABC Primetime or you're showing them PubMed, you know, there are people that are going to understand that. And there are a lot of people that don't. So take the time, especially if you are a presenter, to ask questions along this process. This is not, a presentation is not a monologue like I'm doing right now. It is not a one-way street. You really want to be involving the people and asking questions. And if you're in a one-on, or a, three-way presentation, especially, take the time to like ask them, gosh, do you really understand what this means about PubMed? Do you understand the difference between a public and private company and how that might affect your compensation long term, and affect your business long term? How much do you really understand about the difference between building a team of people where everybody does a tiny little bit and it all combines together? Like, that's such a different way for most of us to think. So these are all points that could either be facts that we just tell them, like, we're a publicly traded company doing about $250 million, hoping to go to $1 billion. And if you get in at critical mass and ride the wave, then you get 80% of the blow. Like, people don't understand what that means. We think they do, but they really have no clue. And we want to come across as so smart. That's one of our biggest problems, is we want people to think we're smart. But you know what they want? They just want to understand how it's going to work for them. So we got to dumb it down, make it super simple. And then we're going to tell them the part about how you get paid, which I say is how it works. And what I've been really learning a lot about lately is, in LifeVantage, we've been taught, we have so many unique benefits and statistics and studies and research and all this stuff. But we don't quite talk enough in presentations about, if you're joining us, this is what you're going to get. You are going to get this incredible, because in most companies, how many of you guys have been in other companies? Raise your hand if you've joined a different network marketing company or been in a similar thing. But yeah, so a few of you. And I've never been in another company. I'd never experienced network marketing. I had no idea what to expect. But one of the things I love about LifeVantage the most is this doesn't happen in other companies, where people are sharing cross-line and helping one another and become family and aren't competitive with one another and everybody's working together. That just does not, from what I've heard from other people, that just does not happen. And here, that is one of the biggest benefits. We have, you could never consume enough training if you had 100 hours a day to spend on it. You would never be able to consume all of the resources that we have, between all of the mentorship, all of the free training, all of the one-on-one experience. That just, people want to know, how is that going to work for them? What are they going to get from you? And how are you going to be there for them to show them how it works? So I think that that's really important. Yes, is it important for you to understand how the compensation plan works? Definitely. But do you need to explain every detail of that in a presentation? Please don't, because every time you do that, people's eyes cross, they get overwhelmed, and they think they can't do it. So if anything, we need to really be the dumbest versions of ourselves. I hate to say that, but really dumb it down. So take so much pressure off yourself in learning this presentation and go to really, how does it feel? How does it feel to have a solution for this? How does it feel to have the possibility of a different life? And be able to describe that to people. One of the most important things, if you don't practice anything else, even if you don't know a lick of our company story or any of that, oh, my dog wanted to be part of things. You think about your energy before the presentation. whenever you're doing anything in Life Vantage, the most, to me, number one most important thing is priming your energy to be in the right place. And so if you are the presenter or you are bringing someone to a presentation and you start, it's totally normal to be nervous because you want to do a good job, you don't want to embarrass yourself, you want your friend to like obviously join us, all this stuff, but double check yourself and just go to your gut and say, how attached am I to what they decide? Because a lot of us are showing up and we're like, oh God, I hope they do it. I hope they join me. Oh, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. And, gosh, I hope it goes perfect because it's got to go perfect for them because they are amazing and they've got to see it. And then they got to sign up. And then if they do that, then all their friends will. And it's like, just really check yourself, because anytime you have that attachment to the outcome, your person is going to feel it. And then they're going to feel that it's about you and not about them. And so, this journey, like Jeff, you were talking about, the speed loves success loves speed. And that's so true. But success doesn't work out if you are forcing it, if you're pressuring it, if you're coming to it from a place of like survival mode. That just doesn't work. So just trust that, and I can tell you this from experience, everybody that's ever come to a presentation, that's just their first experience. And if you can just make that a beautiful experience, if it's right for them, they're going to get involved at some point. And that's the most important thing. It's not a one and done thing. Take the pressure off. Like if they feel great about it and you feel great about it, then that is a win. So, Jeff wanted to know about follow-up. So, okay, you have somebody, they come to this great presentation, you do this amazing job, which by amazing, we mean that we really connected with them heart to heart. They related to us. We got across to them the important messages. And then you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? It's time to go home. It's time to call it quits. What do we do? And the number one thing about follow-up is that people want to be guided. They want you to take them by the hand and say, hey, this is what I think we should do next. And for me, that's the easiest way. It's not like, are you in or are you out? Or, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you, do you see yourself as a 9 or a 4? Really just being like, okay, what were your thoughts about that? What questions do you have? And honestly, without expectation, saying, okay, you want more research. Okay, this is what I think we should do next. We're going to schedule a time to look at PubMed together. We're going to schedule a time to talk to Dr. Lau, and she's going to show us what she thinks about the studies, and that'll give you some more insight. Okay, you want to know more about the compensation plan? Great. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to get together with Jeff for coffee, and he's going to walk us through the different ways that you get paid. And so always scheduling, they always say schedule the follow-up, the presentation from the presentation, right? So you're always scheduling the next thing, which is good for somebody like me, because if I tell somebody I'm going to call you tomorrow at this time, then I know that I will feel like a flake if I don't actually do that. So I'm more apt to show up and call them. But if I'm just like, okay, yeah, we'll get together later this week, then I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to pressure them. Oh no, this isn't the right time. And there's all this doubt that's left up in the air. And then I end up being really unprofessional, like embarrassingly horrible customer service, embarrassingly bad at follow-up. Some people are really good at it. I'm not good at it. But if I schedule it and I have a task or some homework that we're both going to do, I'm 100% going to do it. And if they say they're going to do it and they're going to be there, then the last thing you want to do is be dragging people around, convincing them to get products, convincing them to be part of this business. It is the worst thing for your business to have people be influenced in. So if anything, you got to be a little hardcore, you gotta set the standards a little high. And if they're not willing to follow through on that, that if they're not going to take your call after the presentation, most of the time, they're not going to stick with the products, right? I don't know. You can tell pretty quickly whether it's, if they're the type of person that you actually want to be on your team. So I would love to open it up for questions or thoughts. Anything you guys want to talk about or that brought up?
Dude, I just have one question. Just on what do you think is a good time, like for how long a meeting presentation should be? I know not counting like when you get there and mix and the after mingle part, but like the actual when you're like standing in front, how long?
Oh man. I know you guys did too. Our meetings used to be like way longer. And I feel like in the beginning, years ago, like it's a whole different universe now than it was 10 years ago. Like now, I would say a presentation should literally be like 20 minutes max. Maybe if it's like multiple sections and people, 30 minutes, but an hour is like way too much. Way too much.
So 2 to 3 hours is probably too much. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. That's just like the original, my first attempt, but no. No,
I think people's attention span's super short, and they're also way more, what I find is like people, especially after COVID, they're way more selective, or like way more, like they don't want to waste their time on anything that's unnecessary. You know what I mean? And they're unwilling to like sit through that, and they sure as hell don't want to join and have to be doing that if they're gonna have to go around and spend hours presenting to people. Like they don't want to do that anymore. They want it like fast. They want to, give it to me, get in, get out, and then let's have fun.
But I think you could probably relate to me because I've heard your story, and at one point we've both had this situation. But like for when it comes to like the products we're all passionate about, like we have a lot of products. Could you like kind of just like talk about how you talk about the products in presentation? Because I have personally pulled up that slide that shows all of our products and spent at least an hour going through. And like people are like, I lost them at like 15 minutes into this thing. So I know that that's not a good idea, and I kind of know the answer. But let me just ask you straight up: are you just leading with the Healthy Glow right now, or do you have something that you lead with specifically, or do you just like show everyone all of the products?
Well, it's so interesting just because when you think about like the history of our company. So when we joined, there was only Nerf 2. And we went to Pro 5 in like about 6 months just with Nerf 2. And when you think about the price points that we have now, that's like what, a quarter of what most people start out with on a Healthy Glow stack or Healthy Glow Stack in Axio or Renew or whatever. And so I really think about retention now And we used to sell platinum packs. So we used to sell $1,000, packages to new consultants. And that's totally changed. Now we sell what, like $250, $350, maybe they're even just a $50 with, a small order. And that's totally changed. So what I think about now is I really want people to understand what activation is. And if they grasp how important and the difference between activation and all the other stuff that's out there, and they really get that. And I think the healthy glow stack is so cool because we know that Nerf 2 can kind of take a little bit for some people to feel. But when they take it with the collagen, it seems like people really notice the difference and they feel like they got their money's worth. And that's what we want, I believe, for the initial thing is like, wow, okay, I spent $150, right? And I feel the difference. I feel like something's happening. Now I'm more open to add on Nerf 1, Nerf 2, or NAD. I'm more apt to order the skincare more, I start building my confidence over time and adding on versus trying to go all in on like a bigger package and having them get overwhelmed and maybe like experiencing something with one product and they don't like it, and so then they quit everything. So for me, and that's really hard because I'm so passionate about all our products, but it's really such an easy message with collagen and Nerf 2 that it's really reducing our chronic stress at a cellular level. It's reducing our oxidative stress. This is underlying everything. You're not only going to see it on the outside, but it's going to be transforming you from the inside out. I think that that's the clearest, simplest message, and the clearer and easier it is for somebody to decide, the more they're going to take action. So if we're giving them like, oh, well, you could try this and you could try that, and blah, 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 they just like freeze up. And they don't know what to do. And I think it's way easier to explain collagen and Nerf 2 than the Trice Energizer. Like the names, just people cannot get it. It's Nerf 2, but really that's the number one thing. And then Nerf, this is possible. So wait for that till later.
We appreciate you, Jennings. You're fun. I absolutely love your energy and your honesty is blunt, but it comes off in a loving way, and you're just a lot of fun to be around. And sometimes we need to hear that honesty, and I love hearing it from you. I don't know. This is great, and I appreciate you sharing this. Does anyone else have any questions?
Can I ask Victoria a question?
Absolutely. She would love to answer that, right, Victoria?
Absolutely, I'm here.
So you're a chiropractor?
Yes.
Awesome. We have a really successful chiropractor on our team, and she's got a really incredible story. And of course, she's super passionate about all of our technology, and she's just like overflowing with information. And so as you're going into your presentation tomorrow, do you often, and I think this is an important question for everybody just to keep in mind, is like, when you have all of that passion for the different products and for what it can actually do for your body, because you've seen that, how do you feel about dumbing it down? For you?
So I think I have a good idea of, the people I'm presenting to. So it's reading them first, on how much I need to dumb it down, or yes, letting them know that, hey, if you have further questions, I'll be over here afterwards and let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk science. But yeah, I definitely have a good vibe for knowing how much to say, when to say it, and just what to present. And then Jeff and I, when we talked, he brought up the importance of maybe not always directing it at, science or a specific product in general, but that we're activating, not supplementing. So really just nailing that one on the head for people too. So,
Yeah, that's such a good point.
yeah.
And you just brought up the point, like in the presentations, just being able to tell the whole story, you know, whether or not you think people are interested in the business or not, it's really that they just don't understand what the picture looks like. And so if you can really paint that picture of like how it affects your life to be part of the business and what the story of that is, then that's a way to talk about, these things like the company and the compensation and all that stuff, but in a way that people can understand. So just making sure that we always give that gift that, this is a holistic opportunity. And even though we can be super passionate about the products, the most important piece is that we get to share this with other people and spread all of this love and education and information transformation with the world. So just remember that that's such a gift for people, and most of the time we really have no clue that they may be interested.
So I got one last thing for you. Since you're here, we're going to use you. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So Cheyenne is on here, and this is Cheyenne's launch. So Victoria is going to be presenting, her and Aaron are going to tag team it. But could you help Cheyenne? Because Cheyenne's going to introduce and then edify Doctor. Can we kind of like work that through so everyone can see how that works? So I know you're awesome at edification too. So
yeah, I really want to support you, Cheyenne, in bringing your highest posture as into your introduction, because sometimes it's your friends, your prospects that you're bringing to the presentation, you get nervous and you start to kind of cut yourself off. I see a lot of people, they have this whole plan of like something really powerful they're going to say, and then they get up there and they're like, yeah, like I'm really excited, and here's Victoria. Here's Dr. Lau. And so just take your time and just have a few really key, powerful points that you want to share. I assume you're going to talk a little bit about your story. You're going to, say what your background is and why this appealed to you. Why, what, like we talked about, pain, struggle, what were you experiencing that nobody would know? When you're, like I just remember I was driving home. I used to commute an hour to my house that was off the grid way up by the Canadian border, and it was dark. And I was coming home from my yoga studio late at night, and I'd go to the gas station and I'd go to put gas in the car. And even though I had hundreds of people coming through the studio, I'd feel like, I'm going to overdraft my account. I don't even know if I can put gas in the car right now. And I just had that pit and the feeling in my belly of my stomach, and it just felt awful. And I just, and like just stupid things like that. Tell them the things that nobody would really know looking at you in a short, concise way. And then talk about how you have been introduced and mentored by these amazing people, and you have the opportunity to be supported by somebody like Dr. Victoria Lau, who has all of these incredible features, which not only is she super smart, she's got an incredible practice. I have no idea, but I'm assuming just a couple of key points, and then like talk about how that is part of what we're doing, is that we get to support one another and that we get to utilize the experience of the people around us. So we're not doing this alone, and I would literally say 5 minutes max, and if you want to practice, I'd say set your timer for 3 minutes, because it'll end up being 5 minutes. but keep it short, keep it powerful, practice, call some of these guys up and practice ahead of time. Have it written down. It's totally fine to have notes. That's really relatable. Have it, you know, your key points on a I used to literally hold a piece of paper. So people are scared of public speaking, so don't be afraid to show that you're a little nervous too.
Yeah, and if
Thank you for all that. That was, oh,
I just want to say, like, I just wanted to say, like, so Cheyenne is like a leader type, like boss type person. So I know she's probably not scared to speak, but really, like, I know I'm the one that talked to you, and so I know part of like your thing, and it's part of it is like the hope, you know, that this is bringing you. So if you could transfer that, like, hey, like I saw the hope not only for, you know, the product, and like obviously you're a hustler, you're like entrepreneur, you got a business person, you know, so you obviously see the opportunity side, but really what brought you in was the hope, you know, like, and you know, you don't have to tell everyone the detail, because actually, and that's a tip for everybody, like Dr. Victoria Lau struggled with Lyme disease, right? But when she shares that specifically, then everyone's like, well, I don't have Lyme disease, so it's not for me, right? But if she shares how that made her feel and describe that, a lot of people could relate to not being able to get out of bed. I had to stop my practice because I was so sick I wasn't able to have my practice. That's her story. It's not Lyme disease, because Lyme disease is narrow. Everybody has this thing, like, we just don't have any. And so that's what I just want to tell you, Cheyenne, is like, knowing your thing is if you just transfer that, like, hey, this is what I saw, this is why I'm here, this is an amazing person that like is here mentoring me along the way when you introduce her, and she'll do the whole rest. That's all you got to do, just transfer that, like, that heart, like, come from your heart. That's all it takes. And like, I don't know, I'm just glad that Jennings is here to share this with you. So she's awesome.
You can tell by her picture her hope and her positivity, and that's really beautiful. And I agree. Yeah, if you just talk from your heart, you can't go wrong.
yeah, that's kind of my key point here. It's just my hope for everything. But so, yeah, but thank you for all the information too. That was nice to know and good to learn everything, because I'm new and it's kind of like, it is really nerve-wracking. I'm like, never planned a party before. I've never, so she'll be fun.
So another thing I love doing is you know, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves by having like one launch party or one event. But if people know that you're doing this, and then you start saying like, oh great, you can't come to this one, well, I'd love to have you next month on my call, you know, or I'd love to have you at the next event. And then you actually are consistently showing up for that, and they see you doing that over time, they eventually they are going to show up, you know, because not everybody's going to say yes to your invitation. Not everybody's going to show up. A lot of people are going to call and cancel. Their dog's puking, their kid, you know, whatever. They're going to cancel. It's not you. They're scared because they don't know what's in it for them. So don't take it personally. And then go out and listen to every single presentation that you can. I listen to as many presentations as possible every week, so that I can get those little nuggets, that the things that, oh, I could say that more clearly. Oh, wow, that was amazing. I love the way they did that. And you're always refining it. You're always working on it. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Thank you for all the information. Yeah, thank you.
Good luck tomorrow. I want to hear how it
Thank you.
goes. Yeah.
I'll for sure let you know.
Okay, good. Well, you guys are amazing. That's so awesome to see a team just rocking it, and that gives all of us hope, you know. So keep going.
Could I ask one more question?
Sure.
So we have it set up where, yes, Cheyenne will come in, edify me, and then I will edify Aaron. So we're going to be talking about, you know, our stories, the business story, and then yes, the compensation or how it works. Should that be where each of us kind of does a little bit of each? Or in the past, like I would come in and talk about my story and the product, and then Erin would come in and her story in the business? Or does that matter?
I like that way, the second way that you just described, where you do your story and the products, and Erin does her product or her story and the business, just because I think it's a little bit easier to follow. Like if you're, keeps the flow more simple and streamlined. And I think that that's a really nice way to do it. And it's nice to have the 3 stories because, really that's what is going to catch people's attention the most is your stories. So hearing 3 different short stories, you're going to relate to different people, and that's really powerful. The information they're going to get, they're only going to remember like a very small part of the details of what you say. So, I think always less is more. Always err on the side of less. But I like that flow. That's how we do it a lot. And the hardest part, okay, sorry. So we can talk about this for hours. The call to action at the end. Really making it like clear about what they're supposed to do. Because that's what I suck at, is like, if I don't have a plan of exactly what I want them to do at the end, then it's kind of like the follow-up, like then I flop. And so if you want them to come to the back of the room, let's, get your information, let's find out what your next step is, like have some very clear call to action at the end, not just like, oh, get with the person who brought you here. No, that does not work. No, everybody leaves, nobody signs up, nothing happens. So, it has to be really direct. People want to be told what they need to do.
Have you met Cynthia and Timothea yet, Locklear?
Yeah, I think I have.
So I'm gonna embarrass the story, but they have a clipboard that they bring, and so when people come in, they're gathering their contact information when they come in, and then before they leave, like Cynthia stands in front of the door, and she finds out like if they're wanting to, sign up, and like she basically funnels them there, and like she's asked them, well, like what's the next thing, if she's following, she writes down if she's to follow up, if they want to sign up, or if they're interested in the business, or what like she sets up the next thing right there with this clipboard. I mean, it wouldn't work for everybody. That's her personality. Like she's just like this loving person. Like it might not work for me, but that is a cool way to capture for her. At least it seems to work.
Yeah, that's a great way, especially like at the beginning, if you're telling people, hey, I'm going to meet you after and see which direction you want to go, then it's not like creepy weird, like I'm stalking you at the door or something.
And if they wanted to sign up, they had somebody that was there helping with like a laptop or something, that they would just funnel, okay, you go talk to Tim, or whatever, however they were setting that up. But that was a good idea too, of just taking action. So,
and we're so weird about that part, because like, would you ever go into like a store and be like, oh my gosh, these clothes are amazing, and the person's there helping you like, oh, you should try this and you should try that, and then you're like, okay, I love these things, like where do I check out? And there's like nobody there. Like that would be super weird. But we do that all the time, we just leave it hanging.
Jeff, we also have to remember, and if you can help me tomorrow, Cheyenne has the 10% off too, to use yet.
Yeah.
And that's
We
a
have
great
to-
thing to like maybe say in front of other people, like, hey,
I got
do
3.
you have, yeah, like let's get your 10% off right now, or let's like some call to action, urgency that you can add on at that time. Like, hey, did you guys know, like if we get started tonight, then you're going to get to benefit from getting this True Renew for 40% off, in December, like something.
Is this, do you still know if it's coming free in all enrollment kits right now, December? I'm not the $50
I would
one,
know
but
that, but
I think that I know it was last month for sure, but I
I
believe,
thought that was through the end of the year. We could look on the hub.
yeah, that's the other thing too, is we're like gonna just plug the next event. So, and the hub.lifevantage.com has all of that information for everyone. I recently started using that a lot. It's a nice website.
I think it is till the end of the year.
Okay,
And same with getting a free renew in the collagen, in the glow stack consultant pack.
Mm.
It's till the end of the year.
cool.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jennings. You guys,
Always.
we've been honored and blessed. Let's give Jennings a round of applause. Thank her so much. Send us some love in the chat, whatever. When you see her on Facebook, show her love because she's awesome. And thank you again. Tell your mom I said hi. And
I will. We'll see you guys in Nashville, if not before, right?
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, everybody have a wonderful holiday. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.